Hello and welcome back to ISyE 320-321 at UW-Madison. This video is part of the Basic Arena Tools series that follows the introductory video, which you should watch if you haven't already. Now we're going to cover the Decide module. The Decide module is pretty handy as it allows you to program in some pretty complicated logic very easily. So we'll go ahead and double click on the Decide module and get this nice little window pop up. Again, we can rename Decide. I'll leave it the same. And a really important thing, and probably the most important thing about the Decide module, is the type over here. And this essentially specifies the logic that this module will use to decide on how to decide. And Decide essentially sorts things. So you'll tell it, I want to sort things either two-way by chance, that is, you provide a chance, and in this case it's a 50% chance, and 50% of the time units will go down the true path and 50% will go down the false path. Let's say you decide to choose two-way by condition, then you're allowed to pick a condition, and this uses a lot of different options, so you could use a variable or variable ID, things that we won't touch on in this course, an attribute, this is oftentimes what I use, or an entity type, this is also something I like to use a lot, and then expression. And so you can pick one of these and then put your expression in here using an expression builder. Otherwise you can say the attribute and sort of build out an attribute logic, saying picking this attribute, maybe do the job step, and then say it's equal to a certain step number. Then another type that we have is the n-way by chance. So this essentially, instead of being sort of limited to two outcomes, either true or false, we have more than one. And so n-way by chance essentially says we'll add like a 10% chance of going down one branch, and then we can add another maybe 25% chance of going down a second branch. And then there'll be a third branch, which is essentially the false, and it's the catch-all. It's the remainder of percentage that doesn't exist. So we have 10 and 25 already taken, so that's 35%. So 65% of the time, units will travel down this false path. And if we just press OK, we can see now there are more than one output besides the false. So that's how we get that more than sort of two different paths out from a Decide module. Now if we go back, we have one last type to cover, which is the n-way by condition. It's very similar to the condition, the two-way by condition that I was showing you earlier, but this is essentially, instead of limiting you to like a true-false outcome, you could essentially have many different ways to sort things. And so you can use this, let's say you have different types of planes coming in, you can essentially route them through different processes or different parts of your model based on the entity type or an attribute.